Well, I have quite a few things to talk about. Um, I just wanted to update you guys. Tell you how I'm doing. Well, about a week ago, my grandmother, who's 97, she's still very healthy. It's just mentally she's not. She has very bad Alzheimer's, and we have to deal with it on a daily basis. My grandmother, she nearly every day she defecates herself. She can't make it to the washroom, so we have to clean up after her. And she's always confused, doesn't know who we are or she doesn't even recognize us um, at some points. It's just, we have to deal with it all the time, and it's very stressful. But my mother refuses to put her into a nursing home because we don't really have the money. And if we did put her into a nursing home, it would be a very bad one. They wouldn't take care of her. We take really good care of her. So, we're going to be keeping her until either she passes away or she becomes mentally unstable to the point where we can't even take care of her. Well, anyway, one day last week, she had stayed up for nearly 48 hours. We kept trying to put her into bed, and she would not stay in bed. And this woman can run on little sleep. She's always filled with so much energy. And I'll just cut to the chase here. Well, I was waiting for my dad to come home with some food, and he came home, and I followed him into the kitchen, and then all of a sudden we see my grandmother on the floor, and we rushed over to her, and she had hit her head on the floor, and there was blood everywhere. It was horrific, man. It was absolutely horrific. And she had a huge gash on the side of her face. It was just dripping blood. Blood on the floor, all over her clothes. It was just awful, man. It was, and I rushed upstairs and got my mother. And she was freaking out, right? She didn't even want to see her, right? And it was just horrible. It really was. We we had to take her to the hospital, and we did. And we stayed there for so long. We live in Canada, and we have free healthcare, but the waiting times in order to get checked on, by a doctor, it takes so long. You have to wait at least like 3 or 4 hours. But we were there for a good 7. And I remember just sitting in the waiting area, and they had finally, I mean, we were waiting there for so long, but they had finally called my grandmother so she could be checked on by a doctor. So my mom and dad, they took her, and I stayed behind and with my younger half sister because she came over there, right? And I waited there for even longer, and I fell asleep in my chair, and then finally they woke me up, and they said, well, or my younger half sister woke me up, and she said, well, we're just gonna go home because they haven't even put stitches in her yet, because they were gonna stitch up the wound, and they hadn't even done that yet, and it was like 2 in the morning. It's like, wow. So I went home, and mom and dad and my grandmother, they didn't get home until 6 or 7 in the morning, and I got to stay home from school the next day. So, because I wouldn't be able to go. So yeah, that's what happened, and it was kind of it was an interesting experience. We had taken my grandmother to the hospital many times before, but just for this to happen to her, it's kind of bad, right? She's getting old though, but that's pretty much all that's happened. Um, this is the last week of school that I have before the holidays, the holiday break, and it sucks because today was horrible. It's a Monday, right? Mondays usually suck, but I wanted to start off this week on a good note, but never really get what you want. Just you go to school, you have to deal with the most obnoxious, immature, stupid people ever, and especially the teachers. Some of my classes, I wonder to myself, why did I even take this class? I have this one class called home maintenance, and we're doing, basically what you do is like you learn about how to hook up electrical appliances for, say, if you were going to repair something in your house, right? But it's just so boring, and we have this one project we're on. We have to create this circuit, this electrical circuit, and you have to create 5 of them, and I'm on the second one, and I just can't get it right, and I brought it to the teacher so he could review it, see if it was good or not, like if everything was hooked up properly, and he ripped it apart right in front of me, and kind of gave me, because I brought it to him many times before, saying, hey, can you check on this, see if it's right or not, and every time before that it was wrong. And I went up there and he finally just ripped a lot of the wires apart and gave me a funny look. And I was like, what's your problem? And it was like almost he was mocking me in a way. So, and he was sort of condescending towards me. And he said, yeah, well, you got lots of work to do. And that really put me in a bad mood, because I've spent so much time building the circuit, and you bring the teacher and have him before your eyes just rip it apart, and then tell you, yeah, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, 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 wrong. You got lots of work to do. It's just, and all the other kids are way ahead of me, right? I'm not good at electrical stuff, not at all. I'm horrible, and it's very intimidating because next year, in 2016, I'm going to be helping my family build a house, and that's probably going to involve me building and fixing electrical circuits of some sorts, and I can't even do that in one of the classes that I have. So I don't know. I don't think it matters. I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably just stay idle in that class and not really do anything. So I've already got a high percentage, so who cares? Fuck that class. You know what else happened? It just really annoyed me. I mean, so much stuff happened. I was in during lunch. Um, we're working on this little. We're doing this video for one of our classes, and like me and this group, right? And there was a few guys in the room, and they were so fucking obnoxious, man. One of the kids just started, to put it bluntly, he was farting like crazy. Like he just ripped a really loud one, and it smelled so bad. And it was like, what the fuck? Like, that's just disgusting, man. And then he started belching and burping, and he was fucking around with this one kid, and like he was trying to pick him up off the ground, and he suddenly comes over to me, and then he does it, and he tries to pick me up off the ground. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I didn't say that to him, you know, but it's just, what the heck, right? Another thing happened. I was in one of my classes, and this one guy who sits across from me, he he called me by my real name. I go by Jeff, but my real name is Jeffrey. Only people close to me call me that, like my family. That's it. And it just, no one calls me that outside of my family. And suddenly all the other kids started mocking me. They started making fun of my name, Jeffrey. I didn't really say anything about it. I didn't hint towards it being my real name, but I just don't know why he would call me that. Because he doesn't even know me. That's the thing. And I don't know him either. And it's just weird. Tons of other things happened that were just completely awkward, but it's just way too much to put into the video. You probably get the point. Mondays suck, no matter what week it is. Even if it's the last week of school before the holiday break. I wanted to start this week off on a good note, but you know, you can't always get what you want, and it started off on a extremely bad note. Just, this day fucking sucked. I fucking hate school. But, whatever. At least it's the last week. Anyway, that's all I gotta talk about. Thanks for listening. See ya.